Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I'm Bancroft and being joined by both James and Nick, and you know what? Jimmy is here, but he had to go piss or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it must suck to be a human with bodily needs. You need to just become a cyborg and get it over with.
He needs to join the club.
And with that being said, we have an interesting game for y'all today. This is actually something we're going to start doing a bit more of, is untapped games. And because, you know, Battle Evolution is coming out, we have stuff that incorporates that today. So, James is playing the Nappa deck, and Nick is going for set 1 Broly with, I think, the 2 additional cards from Battle Evolutions.
No, just one.
Is it just one? I thought both the 4 and the 7. Is it just the 4 drop?
The 4 is the only new one.
Gotcha. So with that being said, hope you all enjoy. Like, subscribe. You know, there's buttons there for a reason. Click them, and I'll let them take it away. Oh, James, since we haven't seen Nappa in action, go over a little bit. Kind of explain what it wants to do.
So a lot of people saw Nappa and thought that Nappa was going to be an aggro deck, but that's not what Nappa wants to do. Nappa is field control. Nappa likes to pop 20 Ks for free until you awaken. Once you awaken, you can pop 30 Ks essentially for free. As long as you can maintain control of the board, that's where Nappa really likes to be. Not a great matchup against Green Broly, but against most other things, I really like the way that it runs.
Yeah, and with Green Broly, it's hand control. Apparently, it's the worst color in the game. It's the worst style in the game. So this will prove how bad it is, because as you can see in my opening hand, I don't have the cards I need. I'm looking for the SS3 Broly or the field card Demonic Restraint, just so I can protect myself from my own hand control.
No, I will say, this is your all second game that we did. In the first game, you got all your stuff early on. It looked beautiful, and it did what it wanted to do.
Yes. Ran perfectly. I enjoyed it. I don't think James enjoyed it, but...
No, I wasn't a fan, but I'm never a fan of Green Broly because Green Broly is a cancer on society. But I'm playing around it as best as I can. I mean, obviously, right now we have perfect vision, but during the game, I didn't know what you had, but I had a feeling you had that 4-drop, so I wanted to end my first 2 or 3 turns with an empty field. I did not want to feed you a free 6-drop.
Well, funny enough, with that new 4-drop, the Swift Berserker, I can only play it on turn 3. So the first 2 turns, it's actually the safest for you to play your Cybermen. But we talked about this too. One of the combos that I use is, you can see I just drew it, is my Bardock Unison, which will KO all my 1-drop weenies on my side of the field. So you kind of lose your spot removal because I'm doing it myself, and it's helping me because it's making you lower your hand size.
Yeah. Yeah, Nappa likes to control the field on his turn, so if you're leaving me with nothing to do, I'm just feeding your engine. I'm feeding... Don't feed the trolley. Best advice I can give.
Yes, and honestly, this build in my deck, it's the same as I had previously on the channel a little while ago. The only major change I did was I added in the new 4-drop, the Swift Berserker, which that just pushes the deck even higher. Because the way it works is you can activate main, either get rid of your field card or a Broly card with an energy cost of 1. Put them in the drop area, play the Broly, and then it has an auto when you play it for another green. So for 2 green, you can KO one of their bodies, anything, no restrictions. Then you can play an evolved Broly on top of it. So for 2 energy on turn 3, you're essentially playing either the 6-drop that lets you discard 2 from their hand, or the 7-drop, which is a critical barrier that lets you peek their hand if they have the right hand size for it. And so just the combo itself is just straight ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely agree. So I do expect those to come. So I'm only playing out what I know I could get rid of, because I don't want to feed that engine. So I did awaken with 2 Cybermen here. The plan was to swing the Unison, get a draw off of unexpected casualties, and then combo out the other one, just to feed some more Cybermen into my drop to activate the 4-drop. The 4-drop Nappa. But I think you just dormant potential here. Yeah, you just dormant and then do my job for me. But I don't get the draw that I was hoping for off of unexpected casualties. But right now, my hand's in a good position, so I didn't really care about that.
Yes, and since I didn't have my field card out yet, or the SS3 Broly that plays the field card, I was really hurting here. I only have 2 cards in hand. Both are the Broly chain, but they don't help me if I don't have the field card out. So I'm literally just sitting in the water, waiting for him or you to either just hit me for once so I can take a life, or if I'm lucky enough, just to top deck one of those cards. But the problem is, now that I have my Unison on board, he doesn't have to swing to me, and he does that for a little bit on this turn. Like he does everything he can to not hit me, which is the right play to do. Like the more chances I have in my hand to play my combos, the worse it is for you or just the opponent.
Yeah, so before that Piccolo draw, I was planning on just leaving it at that. But once I saw that Piccolo, I felt I needed to start pushing. So pulled one more Cyberman out of deck just for an alliance target. Because I'm ahead on cards now, but I want to stay ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to take as much opportunity as you can to get those small little pushes in, like clearing a Unison, making it, giving me small life hits, crits if you have them, which you play the Cord and the Core, so you have crit potential too. So it's really important to take advantage when you can before me as the hand control player, I rip your.
Yeah. I think this next turn coming up is where I dug my own grave. Turn 4 is where I made a huge mistake. So we'll talk about that here in a second.
And before we get into that, I wanted to point out, like, during this match, as much as I played Broly, as much as I've seen Nick play Broly, like, my game of Fluff was the longest point. It was turn 3 when I eventually got the deck running. And you're already past turn 3, and it's hurting. And I explained to you guys, or at least James, if it was almost any other deck, Nick, you would have probably lost.
Yeah, because I even missed a charge on my turn 3 because I just didn't want to get anything. I needed some type of hand, and I even missed my own charge. And as you can see now, I don't even have anything in hand. So yeah, almost any type of aggro would have ended me this.
Yeah, and I think this is where my downfall came in. First, I'm in such a habit of get what I can off the field, bait out as much as I can before I start trying to swing. And I don't think my brain really comprehended that I was playing Green Broly, but they had 0 cards in hand and I had everything that I needed. Yeah. So I was still in that mindset and I couldn't wrap my head around it. So mistake number 1, swinging before playing out either the Nappa or the Gohan. I think right here I'm just struggling deciding whether I was going to charge the negate or charge the Unison. I did decide to charge the negate, but I should have played out probably the Nappa if I played it out before swing. So mistake number 1 is not getting that on the field first.
Yeah. And Tributo, why'd you choose Nappa over Gohan?
Rolling the dice. Nappa, when at most he was going to have 4 cards in hand on Nappa's second swing. So I could 30k double, strike double attack. I was pushing for game here.
Yeah, gotcha. And he happened to draw into the Frieza, which really hurt.
Yeah, that was the second mistake. Like, Gohan would have been the safer play. I could have locked him down.
Gohan also, if I'm correct,
deflect and barrier.
But
it does have barrier.
It hits a life.
Yeah,
when you alliance with it. And when it's in rest mode, I can't remember exactly what the wording of it is, but isn't it something crazy?
Yeah, if you alliance, it doesn't even have to be in rest mode, but if you alliance until the end of your opponent's next turn, in order to play a battle card with 20,000 or less, the opponent has to send a life to their drop.
Yeah.
Amazing card. I love Gohan. And if I wasn't smelling blood in the water, Gohan would have been just no questions popped on the field. But I got greedy there. I wanted to push for game that turn, and that's where that Broly came in. That Broly gave you your field card, and the whole thing just flipped on its head right there.
Yeah, just watching this now that I know I can get my field card out, now I can protect myself a little bit, and I have more of a chance. And if you see, I have the combo of Pretty Black Hole and my 6-drop Broly.
Such a great card.
Especially in this deck, because you're playing a big body really easily for as little as 2 energies, most 3. So turn 4, you're keeping an energy open, baiting it out. Then no one expects a Pretty Black Hole because no one plays green. So I was able to get my field card out. Now I have a decent hand. A lot of weenies, but with my unison still on board, that's okay. I don't mind having the hand with just small little things. But my big play is to bait this out and then play the Broly just to get more cards out of his hand. And then just stop. Like, I don't want him to have cards in hand. That's dangerous for me. So my strategy is just get rid of his stuff, let him see if he can play a turn with 1, maybe 2 cards, and then back to me where I can get rid of those my turn.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, in one turn, we flipped sides of the table. Well, the last turn, I had 5 in hand, you had 0, and boom, just like that, everything's changed.
I mean, Demonic Restraints does that. It gives you the ability that you're no longer having to discard cards, and only your opponent is. And combined with the right stuff, like, Nick, you play the Vegeta Super Combo. The Unison itself will hit cards. Like, you now are in a comfortable spot with your leader. You're awakened, so you're hitting his battle cards. I mean, I think I told you earlier. I was like, when you get that field card, it's going to be a pivot, and it was. Now, like I said, I don't know what would have been different if, James, you would have played the Nappa first. Because I think Nappa's 20k, right?
Nappa is essentially a 30k.
30k, okay.
Its original is 20, but when you attack, if there are, I don't remember if it's 1-drop cards or specifically Cybermen. I think it's 1-drops. If you have 6 or more 1-drops on your field or in your drop, it gains 1,000 for the turn, and you also KO up to 3 of your opponent's battle cards. Nappa is also real nasty.
Yeah.
So having an essential 30k double strike, double attack that pops 3 on the field is nasty against anyone. But if I can't keep it on the field, if I can't get my resources up,
so what do you do?
Oof.
Yeah. Right now, it's just top decking and hoping for the best.
So get some more draws in there. And, like, when I saw you draw these 2 cards, I was like, oh, man, if you could have just drawn those like the turn before or something.
Yeah. Yeah, if I would have top decked that Gohan instead of that Corn, it would have been so good.
And yeah, it would have almost... Yeah, that would have stopped essentially all. Like I don't think I would have been able to recover if with the Gohan.
You would have been able to out combo him still though, because it would only been like what 24, I think.
Yeah, but I still would have taken a damage no matter what.
Yes.
And then I would have, and if I didn't win the next turn, which I don't think I could have with just the weenies in my hand, all he would have had to do was just swing an alliance, and that would have been it. So
yeah, but right now Gohan's just hand dump fodder. I think here's where you play out the Bulma and do your is it a -3 on the unison?
No, not yet. I think at some point this might have been the turn where Nick was having audio issues though.
Yeah,
I think it was too. Discord's great, but sometimes my phone just like I don't like talking to people, so
my phone does the same thing.
But right now, all I have are 1-drops in hand. I need to do 4 damage. I need to do something. So right now, I'm just kind of just searching. The 1-drops are great because they fuel the hand control. But if I don't have a way to hit with big bodies or do much, then they're just kind of just not dead cards per se. I just can't do anything. So I'm just looking for shit at this point, which I can't. We just did this match, but I can't remember how the rest plays out.
You do what Green Broly does. You made sure I ended each of your turns with nothing in my hand, and I was left with whatever I got on my top deck.
You cleared his hand, and you turn around to clear his board because Nappa can free play cards. So if you would have left a Corn Liqueur on the board, you knew that was gonna come at you when he free played a Cyberman. You know.
Yeah, which all it takes is top decking the right alliance target, and then he's got me.
And truth be told, though, you had a Frieza in hand, though. You could have allowed him to free play the Nappa, turn around, counterplayed with Frieza, and then killed Corn Liqueur.
Yeah, but it was easier just to keep the board clear. I don't like a board either, and I don't want to give him resources by swinging at the leader, so I'm going to let him sit with just one. Yeah. And then whatever he plays, as long as it's not Gohan, whatever he plays, then I can counterplay it.
So
just keep myself alive.
This turn, I had a question, James. What is Yamcha's -5 ability, real quick?
Give all of your 1-drop battle cards plus 11,000, or not all of them. I think it's up to 9. So essentially all of them. I'm never going to have 9 of them on board.
Well, and that's what begged the question. It will happen in a second, but you paid 2 energy. You paid 4 energy for your Yamcha.
Yeah. I'm going to end this turn with 0 cards in hand, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to bluff him and just leaving an energy open. Because again, my brain just cannot wrap itself around the unison gaining triple attack, not triple strike.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't see the point in leaving anything open. Might as well put a little bit more oomph on the unison. Not that it really would have mattered. I don't think I would have been able to combo out of everything coming up anyway, regardless of if I had some standing energy or not.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to hopefully give him a juicy target, make him a little bit worried about swinging the lead versus negging out my unison. But he didn't take the bait, and he shouldn't have. That was the right play to just end it there. Take the one card that could have maybe done something for me. Of course, he would have just combo killed that, but at least I would have got the combo kill out.
Yeah, and with my hand, still didn't have much to play, but I had another Bardock Unison. If somehow, the only thing that potentially would have stopped me would have been your Violent Raise, but if somehow he was able to get out of a triple attack, I could hardcast 4. My other Unison swing 3 more times.
But, yeah, a complete turnaround though. It's just
Yeah, I knew that there weren't any violent rays in the deck. I don't know if we talked about the turn one, but the turn one I activated main and searched for 0 Cybermen just so that I can take stock of what's in my deck, what's in my life. I know roughly what negates I'm going to be drawing into, if there's any Gohans or Nappas that I'm going to be drawing into through my life. I find that out right at the top. So I wasn't going to look into a Violent Ray. The last Violent Ray was in my deck.
Gotcha. Well, that covers today's game. If you guys are interested in seeing more Untapped videos, let us know. It's a lot easier on my part to edit these things. But with that being said, let's go into a round of what I call last words or final words. Nick.
I guess green's the worst color in the game. I mean, you saw how poorly I played most of the game anyway, so I get a lot of people's hindrances with it, but so I'll probably never play it again. You know it's bad.
James.
Confucius say, man who play green has 0 friends.
I swear I've heard this before. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. And like always, read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.